The world watches with bated breath as the calendar flips to March 2025, marking a grim milestone, 1 year since Russia launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine. The early predictions of a swift victory for Moscow have long faded, replaced by the sobering reality of a protracted conflict that has morphed into a war of attrition, with no end in sight. The initial shock of the invasion has given way to a numbing routine of daily headlines detailing missile strikes, counteroffensives, and diplomatic stalemates. Yet, beneath the surface of this new normal, the conflict rages on, reshaping geopolitical alliances, upending the global economy, and most tragically, continuing to claim thousands of lives. The past year has been a testament to the resilience of the Ukrainian people, who have mounted a fierce defense of their homeland against a larger and better-equipped adversary. But it has also exposed the brutal realities of modern warfare, leaving indelible scars on the Ukrainian landscape and psyche. As we enter the second year of this conflict, the world grapples with the uncertainty of what lies ahead. Will 2025 be the year that the fighting finally ceases? Or will it mark another chapter in this tragic saga, further entrenching the divisions that threaten to reshape the global order? The front lines in Ukraine snake across the country's southern and eastern flanks, a constantly shifting battlefield where territorial gains are measured in meters and victories are often Pyrrhic. The Donbas region, already scarred by years of fighting between Ukrainian forces and Russian-backed separatists, has become the epicenter of the conflict. Cities like Bakhmut and Severodonetsk, once bustling hubs of industry and life, have been reduced to rubble, bearing witness to the ferocity of the fighting. Further south, the strategic port city of Mariupol, captured by Russian forces after a brutal siege, stands as a grim reminder of the human cost of this war. Despite facing a relentless onslaught, Ukrainian forces have demonstrated remarkable tenacity, leveraging their knowledge of the terrain and Western-supplied weaponry to inflict heavy losses on the invading army. The use of HIMARS rocket systems and Javelin anti-tank missiles has proved particularly effective, disrupting Russian supply lines and slowing their advance. However, Russia too has adapted its tactics, relying increasingly on long-range artillery and air power to pound Ukrainian positions. The Kremlin has also bolstered its forces with mercenaries from the Wagner Group, known for their ruthlessness and disregard for civilian casualties. As the fighting grinds on, both sides are digging in, constructing elaborate trench systems and fortifications reminiscent of the First World War. The coming months will likely see a continuation of this attritional warfare, with neither side able to achieve a decisive breakthrough. Beyond the battlefield, the war has inflicted a devastating toll on the Ukrainian people. Millions have been displaced from their homes, seeking refuge in neighboring countries or within Ukraine itself, creating a humanitarian crisis of staggering proportions. The United Nations estimates that over 10 million Ukrainians have fled their homes since the start of the conflict, putting immense strain on host countries and international aid organizations. Inside Ukraine, the situation is equally dire, with millions more internally displaced and struggling to access basic necessities like food, water, and medical care. The war's human cost extends far beyond displacement. Thousands of civilians have been killed or injured in the crossfire, with the true number likely to remain unknown for years to come. Hospitals and schools have been targeted by Russian strikes, and allegations of war crimes and atrocities committed by both sides continue to surface. The psychological toll of the conflict is immeasurable. Millions of Ukrainians, particularly children, are living with the trauma of war, haunted by the constant threat of violence, the loss of loved ones, and the uncertainty of the future. The war has left an indelible mark on the Ukrainian psyche, one that will take generations to heal. The war in Ukraine has reverberated far beyond the country's borders, sending shockwaves through the global order and exposing deep divisions within the international community. The United States and its NATO allies have rallied behind Ukraine, providing billions of dollars in military and humanitarian aid while imposing crippling sanctions on Russia's economy. This support has been crucial in sustaining Ukraine's resistance, but it has also come at a cost. The war has exacerbated existing tensions between Russia and the West, fueling a new Cold War that threatens to divide the world into opposing blocs. Russia, increasingly isolated from the West, has sought to strengthen its ties with China and other countries wary of U.S. hegemony. This burgeoning alliance, united by a shared distrust of the West, has raised concerns about a potential realignment of the global power balance. The war has also had a profound impact on the global economy. Sanctions on Russia, a major energy producer, have sent shockwaves through energy markets, driving up prices and fueling inflation worldwide. The conflict has also disrupted global supply chains, leading to shortages of essential goods and further contributing to rising prices. The economic fallout of the war is felt most acutely in developing countries, which are struggling to cope with rising food and energy prices, exacerbating existing inequalities and raising fears of social unrest. As the war in Ukraine enters its second year, predicting its trajectory remains a perilous exercise. Military analysts and diplomats alike caution against expecting a swift resolution to the conflict, suggesting that the stalemate on the battlefield could persist for months, if not years to come. The possibility of a negotiated settlement remains elusive. While both sides have engaged in sporadic peace talks, deep mistrust and fundamentally different objectives have hampered progress. Ukraine insists on the restoration of its territorial integrity, including Crimea, while Russia demands recognition of its annexation of Ukrainian territories. Even if a ceasefire is reached, the road to lasting peace will be long and arduous. Rebuilding Ukraine's shattered infrastructure, addressing the humanitarian crisis, and healing the deep divisions within Ukrainian society will require sustained international support and a commitment to reconciliation. The war in Ukraine has already profoundly reshaped the geopolitical landscape, and its long-term consequences remain to be fully understood. What is certain, however, is that the conflict will continue to cast a long shadow over global affairs, testing the resilience of international institutions and the very foundations of the post-Cold War order.